They're really helpful people. The wireless network isn't working. We borrowed a couple of €100,000 euros worth of equipment from a large networking manufacturer, and they set all this stuff up, and then, oh, the wireless isn't working yet, but I see a wireless access point. Obviously, it's not working. I will unplug it, plug in my laptop into it, and oh, but I'm on a management VLAN. It's not working. Yeah, and then go away and then leave the access point unplugged. This is not going to make the wireless work any better. But your visitors are very helpful people at a hacking conference. Yeah.
Well, though I must say, major congratulations to the HAR guys. This has been a very, networking-wise, very successful. Christian?
So we actually got an exception to the everything will go wrong law at the first NeighborCon, not the second NeighborCon where we burnt the venue down. And that's how I learned about a little thing called event insurance, which we did not have. But at the first NeighborCon, we committed to doing this as a joke at ShmooCon in DC, and then I got home from ShmooCon and my girlfriend had left me, so I moved to Germany before having a little conference in my hometown. What? Oh, sorry. Yes. So in any case, we had a small conference at a neighborhood bar, and if you go to a bar and you say, I'm going to have 35 to 50 people coming Saturday and Sunday noon to 6, they'll give it to you for free. And they have their own event insurance, so if it burns down, it's their own responsibility. So we had 35 people come in. They threw $0 to $30 a piece for registration. We made a bar tab out of that. Everyone drank for free for the entire conference, and we even got to decap microchips with fuming nitric acid at the bar without incident.
Nice. Nice.
But get event insurance.
There's a question in the audience, is there?
Yeah. Maybe want to introduce myself, but we're starting a grassroots initiative to get the World Science Fiction Convention back to the Netherlands in 2015. And we're pretty much trying out where to start. We've got someone to help us who organizes the Worldcon in 2014 in the UK. But where do we start? How do we find venues? How do we get people together?
Find a university.
University ourselves. There's what, 4 of us here hosting universities? I know Frostcon does, and FOSDEM does, and we do. Does anyone else host a university? And do you host a university as well, TourCon, in your university?
We had the 2001 event at the university.
Yeah, universities are very open to these things. If you can find a nearby university, and IT, they're usually very open. And try and find some contacts.
Does that also hold for science fiction conventions? Are there very big differences between hacker cons and sci-fi cons?
I would imagine it would. Within our own university, there's an anime society. And so if you can find something like an anime society within a university, then they maybe will have the contacts for you. So try and approach someone maybe within an arts department within the university.
Something I personally like non-conventional venues, I suppose. I don't like the idea of, we try not to do Lug Radio Live in a university or somewhere like that because it feels quite formal and it's not a very formal conference. So run a bit wilder with your imagination. I mean, look for things like art cinemas or warehouses or a nightclub.
Yeah.
You know, think about places that wouldn't know, because they're not used to being hired as a venue, they'll probably be a bit cheaper as well. We've done it in an art cinema, in a student union, there's an arts centre that we're in, that kind of thing. So you can go a bit off the beaten track.
Yeah, I mean, like what Tour Camp was held in a missile silo, which was freaking awesome.
Also make sure that if your conference is a certain size, make sure that your venue can accommodate that size, and also keep in mind growth of a conference. FOSDEM started as OSDEM. The F is a story which you can ask me about later. Started as a small conference, and these days we're 5,000 people. And where do you put these people? So if you find a venue, make sure it's cozy enough for a small conference, and also offers enough growth potential for your conference in 10 years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No, I found the university locations pretty cold and kind of unsightly, as you pointed out, right? So what I did was I found my favorite bar camp location. I think bar camps are pretty much, well, all over the world right now. And you can very easily estimate the number of people going to a bar camp, of course. But given this number, I think that the number of attendees you'll have at your first round of this conference will be pretty much alike, or just a little higher. So if you find your favorite barcamp location, this might just be the right location for you. And in the Plumbacon case, this was just about the most snuggly bar there is in Vienna, which is very fortunate.
Christian, about speakers and location, how do State of the Map get speakers and find a location?
Well, that was a bit of a case of everything going wrong. We had the University of Limerick lined up for our event, and then they came back and told us, no, actually, we have a different event coming for half that weekend. So we had to set for Plan B, which was a nearby hotel, which actually worked out quite well, but we really would have preferred to have proper conference facilities, which are much more prevalent at universities than in many hotels. And just to go back a couple of topics, T-shirts. Sorry, T-shirts per year. You can reuse the T-shirts from the previous year, give them away free, and that helps. That is very good for getting people to volunteer. Just free shit. It's wonderful.
One thing that you might not realize when you're organizing a convention is that your attendees are in this with you. Your challenges are their challenges. So any adversity that you might face, whether it be a hotel or a university changing the terms and making things a little bit more difficult, rather than having thousands of people being angry at you, you can all work together to try and make this as good as possible. I know we had some hiccups at tour camp, but we wound up having a great time because, well, you know, some people were legitimately concerned about a bunch of hackers wandering into a missile silo and possibly falling several hundred feet into the darkness. So, you know, we got over that hurdle and we had a great time and history was made. The first American hacker camp happened and David deserves a lot of credit for making that possible. And it was especially cool because everybody, as part of the badge process, part of your badge was a bright orange hard hat that you were required to wear at all times. And one of the most amazing memories, I was giving a talk there, and I'm looking out at this audience of people, and they're all wearing the same hat, all wearing the same bright orange construction hat, and it just was really surreal experience. So if you use some creativity, find some good venues in some of the weirdest places, maybe an armory, maybe an old mental hospital that's no longer in use, hopefully, or maybe, you know, something.
Join the army. There's lots of people. You can look at rooms with lots of people wearing the same hats in the army.
Very true.
One of the good things about, if you do creative stuff, people remember it. For the first Lug Radio Live, we didn't have badges, so what we did was we carved the letters Lug Radio into a potato and then stamped it on people's hands when they came in the door. And everyone, even now, still talks about the potato stamp and complains that you actually get a badge these days.
Excellent. Yeah, one of the things as well is to not underestimate the social aspect of it, that these are great social meeting places for people. And to have the likes of a beer event at FOSDEM and FrostCon, do it in a bar. Don't underestimate the connections that people will make. Some random member of the audience chatting to somebody in Google and getting a job 6 months down the line. So hosting a conference is an enabler of connections like that. I think we're almost out of time. It's a minute past the hour. So just to wrap up quickly, don't micromanage it all yourself. Delegate to people. And typical areas for delegations are the likes of AV. Have one AV guy who's responsible for all your video recording stuff, and he's the person who deals with all that. Have 2 or 3 speaker liaisons. So have your speakers speak to one person, not necessarily you, but everything that they need to do, delegate to one person. Have a PR person, the guy who designs your posters, who sends posters to people, who designs your badges, who designs your website. Maybe have a web admin as well. Have a networking guy, the guy who's responsible for all the network kit. Have a person who's responsible for the crew, so everyone who's a crew member helping out, or if you don't have crews, one person who's a delegate who deals with the audience. And just be the person who manages all these individual teams, but don't take it on all yourself because you will drive yourself insane. Yeah, I think that's about it. Have a unique selling point, and awesome stuff like this will happen. Hackers on a Plane is a fantastic additional extra at HAR.
I have to use this moment to shamelessly plug my conference, because if you haven't any plans for next weekend, it's about 2.5 hours drive from here between Bonn and Cologne. It's in the